This is some work I did today. Customer wanted to remove all the phone jacks out of their house. So this is a simple way to cover up a hole. On the back side of the board, measure it. You can just make a mark with your pencil right at the top and the bottom of the box. Cut it bigger than what you need on the bottom, because you're going to be cutting that piece again anyway. And now peel off the back. Make sure you do it on the back of the board. Peel off the back gypsum, but leave the paper attached. And again, on the back of the board, you can see it's got the right height. So on the back of the board, now pretty much center it. It doesn't have to be perfect. And mark those two sides. On the inside, make sure this little piece that you leave on there is going to fit inside the box. And cut that again, and then peel off the gypsum again, but leave the paper. So you actually have a flap around the whole edge of it. Make sure it fits in the box, because you don't want it sticking out, because then you'll leave a hump in the wall. And just leave it there for a second. Go make your mud up. I'm using 20-minute quick set because I had several of these in the house I was doing all at the same time, so I just did them all at once. Put plenty of mud on there. I put the first coat on tight to make sure it fills in all the little gaps, and then put another coat on top of that to make sure I got it filled out all the way. Stick it inside the box and start from the center and pull out. And what you're trying to do is make that paper stick to the mud that you got on the wall. You always want to make sure you start from the center and pull out so you don't mess up the edges. So now you got all your edges are cleaned up real good. Make sure everything's stuck real good. Now this has been on for about half an hour, plenty of time to let it dry. Put some bonding agents on it because this is a plaster finish instead of a drywall finish. So I had to bond it to put the plaster on. This is diamond veneer plaster, sanded. Ran a coat on it, let it sit for about 15 minutes or so. Came back and sponged all the edges real clean to where you don't have a definite line there where your new plaster meets the old plaster. You kind of blend it in together. And then again, this is the texture finish. You just put a little bit, you don't need much for a texture. You just smear it around. A lot of this depends on your trowel. You have to have a good trowel to be able to do this. As you can see, this trowel has been through a little bit. I've probably had this trowel for 10 or 15 years. Let it sit for another 15, 20 minutes. Come back, slide over it again, and that flattens it out a little bit. Kind of knocks it down is what we call it. And then look at it, and any edges that you see that are still kind of prominent where you can see a definite line, just scrape them off.